Hello everyone and welcome to the guide video regarding the top 5 tips for transitioning from FIFA 20 to FIFA 21. I'm Lucasinho. I was a Nordic champion in FIFA 17 and I finished first in the weekend league leaderboard several times. I've been competing at FIFA at a competitive level since FIFA 12. I'm always really excited when a new FIFA comes out and I'm really excited to share these tips with you guys. I'm also a UEFA A licensed coach, like a real football coach, so I'm really excited to be sharing my knowledge here on the guide for this year's FIFA. We'll be taking a look into how to finish in the new FIFA, we'll be taking a look on how to cross in the new FIFA, but also on how to defend. Let's head into it, shall we? Counterattacking was never really a big thing in FIFA 20. This year, however, it has changed a lot, with more runs being made in behind and a faster build-up play, making it more dangerous to counterattack. This is obviously something that you can use offensively, but something that you need to be aware of when defending, as 2 or 3 players easily can score a goal against you. There are obviously ways to counter this, the first and foremost being in the tactics section. There are so many ways you can do. You could drop back, but I would recommend that you put stay back while attacking on your CDMs or your CMs and your fullbacks. There are also things that you can do in your decision making, especially on the field, here cutting off a striker with your center backs. Being aggressive and countering the counterattacks is a really effective way to stopping them. As you can see here, I'm covering the space and behind and attacking from the side, leaving him no option and me getting the ball, and then I can counterattack on him. Offensively, you can do a lot of things with these runs. As you can see here, Martial, he's attacking the space in behind, which is leaving the option to put the through ball in behind, and also it leaves the space in front of the defenders wide open. Putting an early through ball in behind is a really effective way to getting one-on-ones with the goalkeeper, and especially if he's running out with his goalkeeper, you can chip him in this year's version. You can definitely say that FIFA 21 has a better balance in between counterattacks and possession, and although possession is still a big part of the game, the counterattacks are now a threat. So make sure when you're playing against really fast players to be aware of the space in behind. Maybe you could press high, you could press low, but they're still there. So make sure to try to improve your counterattacking game as well as your possession game, as the game is more balanced in that sense. Try to experiment with a few different tactics and see what works best for you. Although counterattacks are now effective, it's still not the only way of attacking. So make sure to be balanced and try to stay unpredictable. In FIFA 20, shooting at the first post was definitely the best way to finish off an attack. However, this year, you now have the option to finish in the far post. Although the first post is still an effective way sometimes, you should definitely be aware of the far post option. In FIFA 20, whenever you would be in a position like this, you would have the option and you would probably go for the first post, as it was the best way of finishing in FIFA 20. But this year, I would probably finish far post here, as it is the better option. Both of them are good ways of finishing, but at least now you have the option to shoot in both posts. I tend to finish in the far post as often as I can, unless the goalkeeper is really covering the far post. There are so many factors that come into play when choosing what corner to finish in, including the way your opponent is moving his goalkeeper, but also weak foot from your player, positioning on the pitch, and the potential chance of a rebound. So have fun trying to experiment in whatever way you want to finish off an attack and score goals. In FIFA 20, crosses were never really a big part of the game. Due to inconsistent headers, it was really difficult to score on a cross. Same goes with corners, but this has changed this year as they're a lot more dangerous. Crosses are probably most effective when your opponent is dropping back and you need an option on the wing to put the ball into the box. This is definitely something that you need to adjust to in FIFA 21, as the crosses are a lot more dangerous and it's definitely a way of scoring. No matter if you play possession or on the counter attack, having some space on the wing is usually pretty common, and as you can see here, we're catching our defender kind of off guard. He's not pressing and he's not covering, which leaves a lot of space for Harry Kane to get in behind on the first post. It is an easy way to be scoring goals, so try to experiment with it. If you want to know more about the new techniques and the new crosses, you should definitely check out our video on the crosses. The link is in the video description. With crosses and corners now being more effective, it's really important to practice your heading. This is especially true as EA tried to create a skill gap when it comes to the heading. So it is no more assisted, it is completely manual, which means that you need to be totally aware where you're aiming your header. This is definitely going to take some time to get adjusted to. Even though crosses and corners are more effective this year, you need to be way more precise where you're aiming your header. The heading is going to cause you problems. Even though you cross it perfectly, you need to be really aware of the manual heading. You really need to make sure that you're really aiming the header in the goal, because it's very sensitive, and as soon as you aim inside of the goal, you're gonna miss the header. As you can see here, there was some bad aiming here from my side, which led me to missing the header. Holding down L2 or LT on Xbox is a really effective way of defending. It makes your defenders more agile, and it's easier to cover a space in behind. In previous versions of the game, it was a really effective way of tackling, as you could just run into the attacker and get the ball. This year, however, they've reduced the distance that your defender would auto-tackle when you're jockeying, which makes it more rewarding and demanding to be tackling manually. In this example, I'm trying to get the ball just by jockeying here, and as you can see, you need to get really close to the ball for your AI to be making the tackle for you. But if you need to win the ball when you're further away from it, you need to be making a manual tackle to be more aggressive on the ball to be able to win possession. In FIFA 20, using your center backs to put pressure on your opponent was a really effective way of defending. It is more tricky this year though, because the striker is always trying to get into the empty space that you're leaving in behind. So you need to be careful about not pulling defenders out of position as often unless you're really certain to win the ball. It is really up to you and how you want to defend, but you should definitely notice that the AI is making it a lot more difficult for you this year. So try to find your own style of defending. A rule of thumb for learning is always experimenting and making mistakes, so don't be afraid to be making mistakes in the beginning, because it might benefit you in the long run. It is a new game after all, and it's going to take time to adjust. Hopefully all of you will have gotten some tips from this video. Make sure to enjoy the game and try out all of these new things for yourself. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and do check out all the other videos we have here for more tips on how to improve on the game. I'm out. Bye.